Hey, what's up? Alright. Here's a couple of reasons why most people are probably conservative. I would say they actually are conservative. Um, well, the reason why a lot of people don't want to be called conservative is because they think they're racist. They think they don't want to pay taxes. I don't know anybody who wants to pay taxes. But anyway, because you're either going to pay taxes or you're going to give charity. You're going to give your money away somehow. The government's going to make you do something. So you're not, like I said, you're not avoid paying money to somebody. So I don't know how. And it's the Tea Party. People are like, oh, those Tea Party people. Tea Party just means that they don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to pay a lot of taxes. That's all that means. It's not a big deal. They're not racist. They just don't want to pay a lot of taxes. They don't want big government. And big government means socialism. That's why they don't want it. They believe that everybody is an individual and that individually we have equal opportunity to make it up the ladder. That's all that means. Tea Party is not racist. It just means that they don't want to pay a lot of taxes. Okay, calm down. It's not a big deal. Alright, conservative just means to conserve. So if you want to conserve your values, if you want to conserve how you treat people, conserve how your community runs, how things in the community is done, how things in your government should be done. If you don't want to change them, meaning if they're working, why would you change them? So that's what conservative means. It's not a big deal. Most people are actually conservative. It just means you want to conserve your values, conserve your religion, conserve the way you want to do things. It doesn't mean you're racist. And racist, I don't know if race is even bad anyway. Most people are actually racist. If you live in a community where it's mostly white, that's not a coincidence. There's a reason why it's mostly white. Because these people believe that only whites are civil. You might have communities where they're mostly poor white people. These people are actually racist. They don't want to be around other types of poor people. They only want to be around white poor people. Because these poor white people are only used to being around other poor whites. So they don't know anything about the poor blacks. They probably have a negative image of them. So they don't want to be around them. So why do you think when you go to a trailer park, it's mostly white people in there? It's because they're racist. And racist is it's not bad or good. It's just preference. And it's all about the knowledge that you have. You believe or you think that only white poor people, you think that white poor people are more civil than, let's say, poor Mexicans or poor blacks. And it's actually about the same. So it's just ignorance. So, yeah. And nobody's calling the Jews racist because in Israel, most of the people who live there are Jewish. Or Israeli. I don't know if Jew is actually a race. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I guess, yeah, they're Israeli. So most people are racist. So if you go to communities where it's rich people and they're mostly white, that's not a coincidence. Sometimes it's a coincidence, and other times it's because being a conservative is like a club almost, and it has standards. And the reason why there's not a lot of diversity is because it's hard to get in this club. I mean, you gotta have values and you gotta stick to them. You gotta be a hardcore. You gotta believe in you gotta believe in small government. You gotta believe in strong military. You gotta be pro-police. You gotta believe in snitching because snitching is all part of making sure your community is safe and civil. So if you have no drug dealers in your neighborhood, then you're probably conservative. Because drug dealer is multiculturalism. Yeah. Drug dealer is diversity. Diversity just means diverse ideas, diverse people. So if you have no drug dealers in your neighborhood, It would mean that you're conservative because you conserve your values. You don't believe that these drug dealer values compete with yours, so you don't want them in your community. If you have no prostitutes in your neighborhood, that means you're conservative. That means you don't believe that these values should be in your community because you don't want to change your values. Because you know that once prostitutes are in your community, it would change your values. It will disrupt your values. So you don't want those people in your community. That's why they're not in your community. That means you're not diverse. That means you're not a multiculturalist. You're not for multiculturalism. You don't want multiple cultures in your community that's going to disrupt your values. That means you're actually a conservative. And I would say, most people who say they're not racist, they're the most racist. And time always tells the truth. If you're not racist, why is it that mostly of your people in your community are white? If all the people most of the people in your community is white, then you are racist. Because you don't want certain groups in your neighborhood, which is other races. If you are not racist, then you're for integration. You would want others in your community. And people might say, well, the reason why we don't have black people in our community is because they don't strive for the same type of values that we have. That they don't fit our values. So wait, you can't have, let's say, poor blacks in your neighborhood? You can't bring them in? Like, you can't find a way? How come none of these poor black people don't live in your house? If you're saying, well, their values don't fit with our values, so that's why they don't live in our neighborhood. So none of them can live in your house? None of them can go to your school? Anyway, so a lot of times when people say they're not racist, they're the most racist. Because you look at community and they have no black people to be seen. No Mexican nowhere. And if, like I said, if there's no drug dealers in your neighborhood, you're not diverse. You're not a multiculturalist. Because drug dealing is another culture. So if you don't allow this culture, then that means you're not diverse and you're not a multiculturalist. That means you don't believe in what you believe is selective culture, which is a conservative. A person that has certain values, certain ideas that you keep, religious ideas, whatever. So if you have a strong religious, let's say, base, and you have certain family values, certain friends, you have certain friends. You don't allow certain types of friends around you. You don't allow certain types of people around you. You don't let other people's values conflict with your values. Meaning you don't want values that are destructive or values that are different. So if you have a park and you keep it clean, and if you see, like, let's say, the poor neighborhood, rich neighborhood, or let's say suburbs, the parks in the ghetto, the parks are dirty, they're nasty, there's drug dealers walking around. But in your park, you keep it clean, it's civil, nobody's gonna get robbed, nobody's gonna get raped, nothing's gonna happen. You ain't gotta worry about much. These are the values that you keep in this park and the values that they keep in their park. And their park, they don't care about keeping it clean. Drug dealers are walking around, prostitutes walking around. A lot of shady stuff is going on in this park. That's their values. But if we have equal values, then how come their park is dirty but your park is clean? That means your park is different. You have different values. So you don't allow certain friends. You want friends to be loving. You want friends to be nice. You want your friends to be trusting. But in their community, that's not what's going on. They don't trust their friends. That's why you think that people get shot so many times. Because they don't trust nobody. So they don't trust their friends. They're not nice. They cuss people out. They cuss women out. They don't respect women. They don't beat their women. They do beat their women. But anyway, so you have certain values that you keep and you want to reserve, you want to conserve, and you don't want to change. So you're actually conservative. So you have certain friends that you don't want to be around because they disrupt your way of life. You have certain religious values, community values. If somebody robs your house and you call the cops, that would mean that you're pro-cops. And conservatives are pro-cops because they understand the rule of law. We need laws. To keep people from robbing people, we need laws. And you say, well, how are we going to get people to follow laws? Well, we're going to have to value the laws. In a poor community, what I call this new slave community, new plantation, they don't value laws. They don't trust laws. They don't think that laws are going to make their community better. But your community does. You are pro-cops. You are pro-protection, pro-borders, and you value laws. You understand we need laws and we need civility. If I'm working all day and I come home and my car is stolen, I'm gonna be pretty mad. I work all day, I come home, I go in the house, 5 minutes later my car is stolen. I'm gonna be pretty mad. And the first thing I'm gonna do is call the cops. So I would be pro-cops, pro-law, pro-values. It's like, if the person next door gets robbed and I saw something, I'm telling. Why? Because if he gets robbed, then I'm going to get robbed next. But the people in the poor community don't understand that. It's like, if you rob this person, he might rob you. If somebody gets robbed next to me, I don't know, next I might get robbed. So, but they have this snitching thing, the no snitching thing, which actually destroying the black community. Now, people want to say we don't have slavery and all stuff. Yeah, we still got slavery. When if you look in the poor communities, and that's not just black, it's all poor communities in America. They're all under government programs, meaning the master is the one providing the programs, the money, the food. The master, which is the government, provides the society. And then the master is one that makes the society, which is the government. Now the Republicans understand they don't want the master controlling society. Because then you would be the slave. Now you're proving that you're on a plantation now. If you look at all these poor communities, man, there is somebody controlling their society. There's broken families, no fathers around. There's a lot of lawlessness. There's no snitching. There's nobody trusts the cops. Nobody trusts authority. Nobody respects authority. Nobody respects their elders. There's no respect nowhere. And you can never seem to get out. Just like the plantation, you can never seem to get out of the plantation, get out. And the Democrats make it that way. As a matter of fact, these communities where there's the most crime and the most laws and all this crap, these are Democrat-controlled societies. Baltimore, New York, Detroit, Chicago, I think Ferguson too. All the places where the shootings were. These are all Democrat-controlled societies. And people say the Democrats are not racist. Man, they've been racist this whole time. If the Democrats are not racist, then why is it that blacks have the worst communities? Why is it that the Mexicans have the worst communities? Matter of fact, poor whites have the worst communities. I mean, they don't even care about other white people. So it's more about class than anything. But I don't know. I don't see white communities where people get shot every day. In Chicago, people get shot every day. Let that sink in. Every day. How do you get shot every day? I think they said it was like For 6 days, nobody got shot, and it was like a miracle. And then the next day, like a couple people got shot. I don't know what happened. They must have some kind of silent truce or something. But people get shot every day in Chicago. I don't know about you, but that's a war zone. If you don't know if you're gonna get shot today, I don't know. It's crazy, but it's all personal. All gang and everything like that, gang related, you know. And there's no chiefs, there's no leaders. No, when it was gang leaders, the gang leaders would tell the gang members to go kill a person, but it would only be for a reason. You won't kill people just to be killing people. You kill a person if they did something bad. One of the other gang members did something bad, and you will go get a hit on them. But you won't just be killing people just to be killing people. A lot of people don't know the drive-by thing. Well, first of all, it was invented by the mob. They came up with it. But it wasn't. The drive-by wasn't to kill anybody. It was just to scare people. So they would shoot up your house to basically scare you. They wasn't trying to kill you. And then people who would do it would be crackheads. And they knew crackheads weren't going to kill nobody because they're crackheads. They're, their mind ain't. They're not concentrating enough. So they'll shoot up a house, they won't hit nobody because they're on crack. So that's the ones who would do a drive-by, would be the crackhead, would be just, the crazy guy. And it wouldn't hit nobody because he's a crackhead, he's on drugs. He ain't going to be precise. So that's who was doing the drive-by. But now it evolved or devolved to actually killing people. And a lot of these kids, they don't know how to shoot. So these drive-bys, yeah, they be shooting up stuff and missing everybody. Because the kids, they don't know how to shoot. There ain't no fathers around to teach them how to shoot. So there's no fathers around, they're all in jail. What the Democrat communities know is once you take the father out of the home, it's over. If you don't have no role model, it's over. But guess what? In the conservative communities, or in the people who pretend they're not conservative, the people who are real conservative, I don't know. It's like they don't want to be conservative because they're in fear of being called racist. You're racist. I mean, your community is mostly white. You're already racist. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're afraid of being racist? Like what? Your community is mostly white. What are you afraid of? Your community being mostly white proves that you're racist. And I'm not saying that racist is bad or good. I don't know. But it all has to do with preference. It all has to do with belief and what facts, how many facts you have about certain things. If you look at the statistics, blacks are more likely to rob, blacks are more likely to rape, more likely to kill whites. So if you believe in those statistics, then yeah, you probably will be afraid of black people and you probably don't want to live around them. And that's a good enough reason. Matter of fact, there was a town, I forgot what it was, what town it was called, and they didn't have a murder for 100 years. And and they just had a murder, and you know who got murdered? The two black people that lived in that town. That town is mostly white, and I think it was like only 2 black people lived in the town. And you know who murdered somebody in that town? Was the 2 black people that had a relationship with a woman. And I think the man was like jealous, or I don't know, I think she was cheating or something. And the man got, he got, the typical story, the man gets jealous. He wants to be the new husband or whatever, new boyfriend. And he kills the guy. And that was the only murder that happened in that town. And if you're already like, I'd say, a closet racist, you just became openly racist after that, man. Oh man, because those kind of stories and situations makes people who are closet racist openly racist. That's why when I'm looking at these protests and I see a black person, and if he says something stupid, I'm like, don't say nothing stupid, man. Don't make us look bad, man. I'm getting mad, man. I was like, don't say nothing stupid. don't say nothing predictable. Try not to say nothing predictable. And he said something. I get mad when he says something predictable. Man, we gotta fight for the. I was like, oh man, don't say nothing dumb. I be getting like frustrated when I see black people say the most predictable things. I'm like, don't say nothing stupid. Please don't say nothing stupid. And if they say something that's not predictable, I'm like, yeah, good, finally. Somebody, a black person that's not in a hive mind, who says something that goes against the grain. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know who you're afraid of anyway. You're afraid of people like this. You're afraid of rich people or a suburb black white people to call you racist. But I think it's like you really actually fear black people. I think that's what it really is, which means that you're actually racist. If you're afraid that if you tell a black person you're conservative and you'll be, let's say, punched or assaulted or called racist, then you're the actual racist, because you believe that if you spot your beliefs, that you believe that this black person will attack you. So you assume this black person would attack you. So that's why you don't want to call yourself conservative, because you think this black person or this Mexican or this minority or whatever, or it's like Islamophobia. They're actually the ones who are afraid of Islam. It's not that they're for Islam, it's that they're afraid of Islam. They know if they call any Muslim a terrorist, that they will get attacked. So based on your own prejudice, you believe and think that these Muslims will attack you if you say anything about their religion. You criticize their religion. So it's not that they care about Muslims. No, it's that they're afraid of Muslims. They know what they're capable of. So it's all about fear. They're only saying that they're for Islam because they're afraid of it. It's the same reason why whites or rich people or suburb people or even civil black people, they're afraid to be called. They don't want to be said. They don't want to say they're conservative because they're afraid and believe that blacks are violent. So you are the actual racist, that you believe that blacks are going to particularly act the same way every time if you criticize what they do. So that's why you live in a mostly white community, because you believe that if you live around certain blacks and you have different views than these blacks, then you believe that they will be violent towards you. So that's why you pretend you're not a conservative. You don't want to be called racist. You don't want to be harmed because you know what these people are capable of. And the same with the Muslims, the same with the feminists, the same with women. The reason women why they would say that they're feminists even though they're not, it was because they're afraid of these women. They know what they're capable of. So most women are not actually feminists. Just that they're afraid of these other women. These women are manly. These women are aggressive. These women are crazy. Because they know that survival instinct, they pretend. They pretend that they're with them. But they're really not. They're really just afraid of them. So the same thing is whites pretending they are down with the cause. It's the same as pretending that people in general are so for Islam, but they're really afraid of it. But I get it. You know, it's all about survival. It's all about conserving your values and making sure your community is safe. Sometimes you have to pretend. I get it. It's not a big deal. A lot of times when I go out, I don't say this stuff out there because I don't know what people are going to do. So I try to just listen to what they say first. And then if it's like, I don't know if I can convert this person, so I just move on. So don't try to convert people and nothing like that. Just give them the facts, give them your views, and understand what people are capable of. People can be crazy. People can do some stuff. I'm not saying be even more afraid. I'm saying, like, just listen first. Listen to what they're gonna say. And if the conversation can be civil, then speak up. Say what you gotta say. If the conversation can't be civil, then keep calm and try to go home. Try to get out of there. There's no reason to risk anything. Just to prove a point. But yeah, I mean, most people are pretty prejudiced. Most people are pretty racist, and they don't want to be. It's just, we don't know what people are going to do. And I would say, yeah, do what you got to do to conserve your beliefs and your values, because I know you're a conservative. You might not say that you are, but be a conservative means to conserve. It's not a big deal. Like I said, if you have no drug dealers in your neighborhood, you're a conservative. Because drug dealing is a culture, but drug dealing is a value. So if you don't want this value and culture to conflict with your value, then you want to keep your culture and your values and the way you do things to change, that means you're conservative. So, hey, if you have drug dealers in your community, that means you're not a conservative. Because you don't really care if these values conflict with yours. That means you don't want to conserve your values. You want to change your values. And I guarantee you don't. Most of these communities, they don't want to change their values. They don't want things to change, things to become uncivil. I've been in most of these communities. They're really awesome. They're clean. The people are really nice. They're civil. And I want them to be conservative because I want to be safe in their community. So I'm glad that you're either conservative or closet conservative, because it means that when I go into a community, I'm safe. And I know you will be nice to me and you'll be friendly, and that's great. I just wish that you would speak up more about your values. That you don't have to be afraid of me or anyone else. You can talk about your values. You can openly talk about them in a civil way. If the people are not civil, time to get out of there. So, yeah, I love these communities. Yeah, I love them. I like them because I know I'm going to be safe. And I'm glad these people are either conservative or closet conservative, because I know I'm not going to be harmed. So, like I said, I just hope that people will speak up more and be like, you're right, I am conservative. I didn't even know it. Anyway, that's about it. Remember to comment. That would be great. Share the video. I think my brothers are just doing it. So yeah, share the video. I think that's how, like, it's obvious. But if you share the video, more people will see it, and I get more people the message to. Sharing it, liking it, commenting on it, all that stuff. Sorry about the burping, man. Yeah, I think sharing the video is making sure that more people get the video. And if you have like friends that are closet conservatives, yeah, I'll usually speak in a way of where I'm aggressive, but and then I comment down. So yeah, make sure they see the whole video where I comment down at the end. Anyway, so share the video, comment, like, stuff like that. Alright, peace out.